Competition appears to define every market. Hundreds of companies compete for customers. Thousands of entrepreneurs launch new ideas. Innovation seems endless. From the outside, the marketplace looks balanced. But over time, something remarkable begins to happen. A few organizations steadily pull ahead. More customers choose them. More developers build around them. More businesses integrate with them. Their ecosystems grow larger. Their advantages become stronger. Eventually, competition begins producing the opposite of what most people expect. Instead of creating endless winners, it quietly creates concentration. This is not always the result of unfair behavior. More often, it is the natural outcome of architecture. Because systems that create more value attract more participants. And every new participant makes the system even stronger. Dominance is rarely an accident. It is usually designed long before it becomes visible.
Gravity shapes the universe. Network effects shape the digital economy. The more people join a network, the more valuable that network becomes. Every additional participant creates new connections. New connections create more opportunities. More opportunities attract even more participants. This positive feedback loop quietly transforms growth into dominance. The system no longer grows one customer at a time. It grows exponentially through relationships between participants. Eventually, leaving the network becomes more difficult than joining it. Partners remain because everyone else is already there. Customers remain because the ecosystem offers greater convenience. Developers remain because innovation happens where the largest communities exist. The network becomes more than a product. It becomes infrastructure, and infrastructure becomes one of the strongest forms of economic power. The strongest systems rarely force people to stay. They simply make leaving increasingly difficult. Every payment history, every customer relationship, every software integration, every workflow, every habit gradually becomes part of a larger architecture. One connection leads to another. One service depends on another. One decision creates another dependency. Eventually, switching no longer feels like changing a product. It feels like rebuilding an entire ecosystem. This is one of the most powerful forces in modern business, not because customers are trapped, but because the architecture continuously creates more value than the alternatives. The stronger the system becomes, the greater the cost of abandoning it, and the greater the cost of leaving, the stronger the architecture becomes. Growth does more than increase revenue. It changes economics. A small factory produces hundreds of products. A global manufacturing network produces millions. A local warehouse serves one city. An intelligent logistics network serves entire continents. As organizations scale, their cost per transaction often decreases. Their efficiency improves. Their negotiating power expands. Their ability to invest accelerates. This creates another invisible advantage. Larger systems can continuously improve the architecture, while smaller competitors struggle simply to survive. Scale is not merely about becoming bigger. It is about creating capabilities that only scale itself can support. At a certain point, size stops being a number. It becomes infrastructure. Every interaction creates information. Every search, every purchase, every delivery, every decision. Individually, each signal appears insignificant. Together, They reveal patterns invisible to the human eye. Artificial intelligence transforms these patterns into intelligence. Intelligence improves recommendations. Recommendations improve customer experiences. Better experiences attract more users. More users generate more information, and more information makes the system even smarter. Another self-reinforcing cycle begins. This is why data has become one of the defining resources of the digital age, not because information alone creates power, but because intelligent systems continuously convert information into better decisions, and better decisions quietly become another form of competitive advantage. The strongest systems do not grow in straight lines. They grow in circles. A new customer creates new data. New data improves intelligence. Better intelligence creates a better experience. A better experience attracts more customers. More customers attract more developers. More developers create more innovation. More innovation strengthens the platform, and the cycle begins again. Each revolution adds momentum. Each cycle requires less effort than the one before. Eventually, growth no longer depends on constant intervention. The architecture begins accelerating itself. This is known as a flywheel, not because it spins, but because every movement makes the next movement easier. The organization is no longer pushing growth. The system is generating it. Every digital service appears simple. A message is delivered, a payment is completed, a video begins playing, an artificial intelligence model responds in seconds. But simplicity is expensive. Behind every digital interaction, an immense infrastructure quietly operates. Data centers process information, fiber optic cables transport it across continents, semiconductors perform trillions of calculations, energy grids keep everything alive, cloud platforms coordinate billions of requests every day. Most people never see this architecture, they only experience the result. Yet this invisible infrastructure determines who can innovate faster, operate more efficiently, and scale more rapidly than everyone else. Power no longer belongs only to those who own products. Increasingly, it belongs to those who own the infrastructure upon which products depend. Every successful system eventually reaches a turning point. It stops behaving like a company. It begins behaving like an ecosystem. Innovation no longer comes from one organization. It emerges from thousands of participants building upon the same foundation. Businesses expand, developers create, customers contribute, artificial intelligence optimizes, capital accelerates. The architecture evolves continuously. No single participant controls every outcome, yet every participant strengthens the entire system. This is why ecosystems often outlast individual products. Products become obsolete, technologies evolve, leaders change, but a well-designed ecosystem continues adapting. Its strength does not come from permanence, it comes from continuous evolution. The greatest organizations of the future will not simply build better products, they will build ecosystems capable of improving themselves. From the outside, markets appear chaotic. Thousands of companies compete every day. New products appear. Old products disappear. Startups challenge established businesses. Innovation seems unpredictable. But beneath this constant motion, another pattern quietly emerges. The organizations that endure are rarely those with the loudest marketing, or the largest workforce, or even the best individual product. They become indispensable because they occupy the center of the system. Their infrastructure connects participants. Their platforms coordinate transactions. Their standards become industry standards. Their technology becomes the foundation upon which others continue building. Over time, competition begins producing dependence. Dependence strengthens the architecture. The architecture attracts more participants. And every new participant reinforces the system once again. This is why modern dominance is rarely enforced. It is continuously reinforced by the value the system creates for everyone connected to it.
Most people see monopoly as the end of competition. Architects see something deeper. They see the moment when architecture becomes infrastructure. Infrastructure becomes dependence. Dependence becomes resilience. And resilience becomes enduring influence. This is why the most valuable organizations spend less time defending yesterday's products and more time expanding tomorrow's systems. Because products compete, architectures compound. Every integration strengthens the network. Every improvement strengthens the ecosystem. Every participant increases the value of every other participant. Eventually, the organization is no longer competing for customers. It is shaping the environment in which entire industries operate. That is the highest form of strategic leverage. Not controlling the market, but designing the architecture that allows the market itself to function. The future will not belong only to those who innovate first. It will belong to those who build systems that others choose to build upon.
Every great system begins with a simple idea, but history is shaped by the architectures that survive long enough to become indispensable. The world's most influential organizations rarely become powerful overnight. They patiently build infrastructure, they strengthen networks, they improve intelligence, and over time, their systems become the foundation upon which others continue to create value. When you begin seeing these invisible architectures, competition looks different, business looks different, technology looks different, even wealth begins to look different. Because beneath every dominant organization, there is always an architecture quietly compounding value. That is the perspective of Asutsen, not simply to explain who leads the world, but to reveal the invisible systems that make leadership possible. Welcome to Asutsen, architecting wealth, automating future.